Hello and welcome, future Dolphins. Congratulations on your recent admissions to our school. My name is Ruby. I am a third-year student here at Cal State Channel Islands, and today we will be highlighting the English program. And here with us today, we have Dr. Georgina Guzman and Dr. Brad Monsma. How are you guys?
We're good. How are you?
Doing
Good. Great to see everyone's virtual. So thank you so much for joining us today. Before we get started, please introduce yourself and tell us a little bit more about the English program.
My name is Brad Monsma, and I've been teaching at CI for 15, 16 years, and I teach environmental literatures and multicultural American literatures, and I sort of love dabbling in all sorts of things, and so interdisciplinarity is a real key word for me too.
Perfect.
I'm Dr. Georgina Guzman. I teach Chicano literatures, multicultural literature, American literature, and our English capstone a lot of the time. Interdisciplinarity is also important for me. I'm currently writing a book on campus service workers and their relationship to first-generation college students. So, storytelling in many forms, and the ways that stories also help us help students, right, succeed and stay in the university.
That's wonderful. That's really wonderful to hear. I'm just going to go into a few questions just for our students to get to know a little bit more about the program. So first question, in the English program at CI, what are the most popular courses, minors, and options? Are there emphasis that you can major in? What kind of options do students have?
Well, we have, I'm drawing a blank right now, but multicultural literature is an option. A lot of students are also in teacher education because they want to become teachers, and people flow in and out of that. Sometimes people get into it and decide, oh, actually, maybe I don't want to be a teacher. Other people decide they want to, a little later. And a lot of people just general English majors because they want to keep options wide open, which is one thing English is great at. The skills we teach, critical thinking, good writing and communication skills, good research skills, they apply to so many things.
Yeah, creative writing, right? Yeah, along with education, multicultural option, we have the creative writing option. So if students are interested in writing their stories, and whether it's fiction or nonfiction, we have many courses in creative writing.
That's
and I think
our most popular English track, I think, and we've got classes in poetry, alternating writing for stage and writing for screen, fiction, creative nonfiction, sort of all the genres, and as well as introductory courses and some genre fiction courses, and that might be in like science fiction writing or detective fiction writing, that kind of thing.
Yeah, so very well-rounded, like all around the English major. So for a student, maybe, is there any type of academic background that a student should have to enter into the program? Maybe special writing skills or anything?
That's a good question, right? Students often wonder, like, do I have to excel at writing? You don't have to excel to be an English major, right? In case, as long as you want to read a lot and write a lot, that's the major for you. But that's what the major is about, to teach you and equip you with the tools, the critical tool set, right, to become a good writer and to be able to think critically and read a lot of great books, right, that will make you a more well-rounded citizen.
Yeah, I think the key aspect is desire. Do you love stories? Do you want to see how stories work in our minds and in yourself and in the world around you, and how, we are just surrounded by stories, and English majors are people who enjoy not just seeing those stories, but also analyzing them, trying to understand how they work and how they work on us and for our society and our cultures and so on.
So, yeah,
stories. Go ahead.
Oh, no, I was going to say also some of the popular courses that we have, right? They touch upon what Dr. Monsma was saying. So if you like science and fiction, we have courses that are on science fiction, literature of the environment, if you're into environmental science, and so lots of interdisciplinary types of courses.
Yeah, just to follow up on that, like the science/fiction course is taught by an English professor who studies Afrofuturism and African American studies and African literatures, but also by a chemist who is also a great reader and interpreter. And so to have both of those perspectives in the same class is something that I think is uniquely suited to English majors and a unique opportunity for English majors.
Mhm. Yeah, that kind of ties into my next question was, you know, in order to be an English major, do you have to be a good writer or excel in English? I know Dr. Monsma, you said the need to feel a desire. Do you feel that that's like the case in writing as well?
Yeah, I mean, that's the purpose of education, right? Is you don't go into what you already know. You go because you are curious, because you want to improve at things. I do know English majors who became English majors because they felt like writing and literature or writing and reading were weaknesses that they wanted to improve. Not true for everybody. Some people discover that they're going to switch majors. I just had this past semester, one switch from biology, one switch from communication that I know of, because they discovered really looking at themselves, this is what I love to do, this is what I want to do. And they took a couple of English classes and thought, yeah, that's where I feel at home. So it can go either way.
Perfect. And for students here at CI, do you all know of any opportunities for students to participate in hands-on learning? Are there undergraduate opportunities, internships, service learning? Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, our major has lots of hands-on learning. The first example that I'll give you is in my Chicano literature course. There's a service learning component where students go into the community, and particularly in my class, we go to farm worker housing, and you work with las señoras, the women that live there, and the kids, and the students read Chicano literature with the women and kids, and they have to like create their own lesson plans and be teachers like out in the field. And so it's a really great experience that we can provide in that class. And so many other things, right? Like the Island Fox is the literary journal within the English major. So if you want to publish your stories or you want to learn how to work with a little journal and learn how to, edit and put something into publication, we have the Island Fox. We also have a class called the Publishing House, where you also learn those skills in terms of how to publish and how do you put a book together. Also, we could go to, and Professor Monsma can talk about this, right? But the Santa Rosa Island station, where students go to the actual Channel Islands to enjoy the scenic beauty there, but also write and reflect on it.
And we also have a very active English club that's run by students with events, writing workshops just for students. That happens every semester. They host readings by authors. There's supposed to be one in the works right now with a group of alumni who graduated from English, who started their own journals and publications. There are like 3 or 4 publications that were started by students who had these experiences in courses, learning how to publish things, learning how a journal works, and got out and decided we want to do that, keep doing that. So they did. We've had a number of faculty work with summer research in undergraduate research programs where students get funding, it's almost like having a summer job, but you're working for a professor doing research on a long-term project. And we've had a couple of those in the last year with a good handful of students. Lots of stuff. And then students also have internships at various corporations and companies and nonprofits around Ventura County and LA. And that's about all I can think of right now, but that's a good handful of opportunities. So
yeah, the internships. Yeah, we have partnerships with the Ventura County Museum of Art and Sage Publishing. So yeah, those are lots of different internships, and our coordinator is always finding out new opportunities for internships for our students, because we really value hands-on experience for our students.
But it's also that the community values what our students can bring, and so sometimes people are seeking us out saying, do you have students who could work with this? And that's how an internship develops. Sometimes a
Exactly.
student has an opportunity and comes to us and says, I know this and these people doing this over here. Do you think I could make an internship out of that? And so we figure it out and negotiate and talk about it until it comes together.
So would you say that most of the opportunities that the English program provides, are they more local or non-local to the Ventura County area?
Probably local
Mhm.
or widely regional. I've had a number of students do internships in LA, even at a couple of Hollywood studios, that sort of thing.
Uh-huh. Wow, such a range of opportunity. I think
Yeah.
all of these, the department provides the students. So in preparation for this, what kind of jobs do English graduates seek upon graduation?
All
No, I
over
think
the place. And that's what I was saying earlier about research skills, good writing and communication skills, the ability to work in teams and in groups, and good reading and interpretation skills. Those are so flexible. We have students going to a number of law and professional schools, law school, professional schools. I've had students get graduate degrees in international relations. Of course, there are always a number that go into elementary and secondary teaching and publishing. Some of those people who have internships at Sage Publications, which is a huge international publishing corporation, some of those internships become jobs, and we have a number of alumni working at Sage. People go into traditional graduate school in English at either the master's degree or PhD level, studying all sorts of different aspects of literature and creative writing, MA and MFA programs. Things to add, Georgina?
Also students that go into library science or informational science, if you want to become a librarian, I think you said, yeah, law school. Yeah.
We have a pretty good tradition too of students who go and teach abroad. You know, if only for the first few years of their professional experience. We've had students teaching in South Korea for a few years at a time, in Japan, in all over the place, South America, Ecuador. Also, we've had students go into the Peace Corps, a few of them, and Teach for America, another program helping people go into underserved areas that need good teachers. And that's a very, very competitive national program that our graduates have gotten into. So, yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like so many avenues that, majors as an
I mean,
English.
in some ways, that's the challenge is English majors often, I think, the English major attracts people who like that idea of flexibility, because you might not see a job ad saying wanted English major the way you would see wanted chemist or biologist or something like that. Instead, you have to think really flexibly and look for think more in terms of what are the skills that I have and where could those skills be useful when I start to look at job ads.
Mhm.
Think about what places to approach and say, I would like to, be part of your team.
Yeah. So here at CI, would you say that, do you have any specific programs, or is there anything here that prepares students for graduate school if maybe they want to go down that avenue?
Yeah, in our major, we always have info sessions for grad school just to answer, what is grad school? Why should you go, right? For a lot of us first generation college students, like we have no idea, how you even begin that process. Like a lot of students don't know that you can get your master's on the way to the PhD, and actually applying a PhD program is oftentimes better. So yeah, info sessions. Also, our curriculum really prepares you for graduate school in itself, right? A lot of our classes are theoretically oriented. We have literary theory courses, so we prepare you for graduate school if that's something you want to pursue in the future.
Yeah, so you take that literary theory course and your brain lights on fire, and then you find that all sorts of other courses, even though they don't say literary theory, are using literary theory and making it a part of the course. And the students who really love that discover that when they get to graduate school, they were so grateful for that theoretical orientation, because that's all, at least graduate school in literature programs, but even creative writing to a certain extent, that understanding how you think, understanding where your ideas come from in terms of in history and how they shape you. Those are all things that theory is about, how they shape the world around you that you're writing in. Helps you to become self-aware of your own process and what you're trying to do as a writer.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have lots of alumni too. So former students of ours who are in graduate school programs, and we are still connected to them through, Facebook and many other forms of social media. So we can always draw upon our alumni to come back and mentor our current students to apply to graduate programs. So we have grad students at Notre Dame University and UC Riverside. And a student of mine is entering the MFA in Ithaca College, which is a hybrid MFA of like image and text. So he's a photographer and a creative writer. So I always like learning about graduate school programs also through my students, because when they apply to something, like I need to learn about it. And so there's so many different opportunities out there that oftentimes we don't even know about, and our students teach us. And then once we learn from them, we're able to pass on that information to other students.
Mm-hmm. I think that's one of the benefits of being such a tight-knit community here at CI. You really get, especially, it looks like both of you have such amazing knowledge about the English world, and having that connection with your professors, I think, is another great benefit of having those small classes and forming those relationships. So for any student maybe coming in as a freshman or a transfer student, do you have any general advice for them coming into the English program here at CSUCI?
Go ahead, Georgina. Because I think what you're going to say, and I think it's a great answer.
Well, just to, use this time as a time to edify yourself, right? To take courses that will provide you a humanistic education, to learn about the world and explore and, just become a more well-rounded person, right? In preparation, just, continue reading and continue writing, and we'll be waiting for you here in our courses, when you're ready to start that journey.
I don't know if this was an answer to the question, but I thought you would also say something you mentioned the other day, which is to, when you get here, take courses from, if you find a professor that you like or that you have a connection with, take a couple of courses from that same person, which you'll have the opportunity to do, because it just, when you know someone well and they get to know you well, it makes recommendation letters easy to ask for, and they get good because professors know you well. And so that's good advice too, I think.
Yeah, that's a good
so
point.
Each of you personally, what is your favorite class to teach?
My favorite class to teach is Chicano literature, because that's, my field, and I love teaching about it. Oftentimes we don't get to teach, or actually we don't get to read or learn much Chicano literature in high school. I know I didn't get to read any until I went to college. And so for many students, when they read that, they're like, wow, like there's literature written by people like me. And, it speaks to me in a way that it's culturally relevant. So oftentimes students didn't even know that they like literature or English because they were just reading the wrong books, right? But in that class, students really, there's a passion that's awakened in them when they read books that are culturally relevant and speak to their experience.
Yeah, and I'll say the multicultural literature class, the perspectives on multicultural literature, is my favorite class right now too. I mean, I was someone also who, as an undergraduate, read almost no literature by people of color, almost zero for my whole undergraduate English major. And when I got to Los Angeles for grad school, I just realized I hadn't read anything that was helping me understand the world that I now lived in. And so my entire career shifted, or my idea of what that career could be shifted, as I wanted to understand the world I was living in. And so when I teach that class now, it's just so relevant to the kinds of discussions and cultural tensions that we have all around us, that I love seeing students wake up to that literature and the possibilities that literature has to guide us in how we live and how we understand the people around us and think about our own lives.
That's great. Well, thank you so much, Dr. Monsma and Dr. Guzman. Students, if you have any more questions about the English program, please visit go.csuci/academics. And we hope we will see you in the fall.
Can I quick sneak in? Let's, if there's opportunity to email us, or if
Okay.
anybody wants to email any of our faculty, we'll all respond.
Okay. Great. Sounds good. Thank you so much for joining us.